Hi there. Welcome to part 1 of our complete California DMV test prep series. In this video, we're diving into traffic signs and road markings, one of the most important parts of the DMV test. If you don't know your signs, you won't pass. Simple as that. But don't worry, I'm going to walk you through every possible sign and marking you could see, explain what it means in plain English, and give you memory tricks so you'll never forget. Let's go. Traffic signs. Q. What does a stop sign mean? A. Always make a full stop, check traffic in all directions, and proceed when safe. Memory hack. Stop equals still tires on pavement. Q. What does a yield sign mean? A. Slow down, give right-of-way to traffic or pedestrians, and stop if necessary. Think. Yield equals you wait. Q. What does a flashing red traffic light mean? A. Same as a stop sign. Stop fully, then go when safe. Q. What does a flashing yellow traffic light mean? A. Slow down and proceed with caution. Q. What does a solid red light mean? A. Stop until it turns green. Right turns allowed if safe, unless posted otherwise. Q. What does a solid yellow light mean? A. The light is about to turn red. Stop if safe to do so. Q. What does a green arrow mean? A. You have a protected turn. Oncoming traffic is stopped. Q. What does a red arrow mean? A. Stop. Do not turn until it changes. Q. What do pentagon-shaped yellow signs mean? A. School zone or school crossing ahead. Q. What do diamond-shaped yellow signs mean? A. Warning. Hazards, curves, intersections, etc. Q. What do rectangular white signs usually mean? A. Regulatory instructions like speed limits or lane use. Q. What does a triangular red and white sign mean? A. Yield. Q. What does an octagon-shaped sign mean? A. Always stop. Q. What does an upside-down triangle mean? A. Yield sign. Q. What do orange signs mean? A. Construction or work zones. Slow down, fines doubled. Q. What do brown signs indicate? A. Parks, recreation, cultural interest areas. Q. What do green signs mean? A. Direction, guidance, distances, exits. Q. What do blue signs mean? A. Roadside services, gas, food, lodging, hospitals. Road markings. Q. What do solid yellow lines mean? A. No passing if it's on your side. Q. What do broken yellow lines mean? A. Passing is allowed if safe. Q. What do double solid yellow lines mean? A. Never pass. You may only cross to turn left if safe. Q. What does a solid white line mean? A. Stay in your lane. Discouraged to change lanes. Q. What do broken white lines mean? A. Lane changes allowed when safe. Q. What do double white lines mean? A. Do not change lanes. Q. What does a painted white curb mean? A. Stop only long enough to pick up or drop off passengers. Q. What does a painted green curb mean? A. Parking allowed for a limited time only. Q. What does a painted yellow curb mean? A. Stop for loading, unloading passengers, or freight. Q. What does a painted red curb mean? A. No stopping, standing, or parking. Q. What does a painted blue curb mean? A. Disabled parking only with placard. Q. What does a crosswalk marked with white lines mean? A. Pedestrians have the right of way. Q. What do diagonal yellow stripes on the road mean? A. Obstructions or hazard areas, don't drive there. Q. What does a solid yellow curb edge mean in California? A. Commercial loading zone. Q. What does a white limit line mean at intersections? A. It shows where to stop. Q. What do arrows painted on lanes mean? A. Direction of travel permitted in that lane. Q. What does a diamond painted on the road mean? A. Lane reserved for HOV/carpool, buses, bikes, or other special use. Outro, final 30 seconds. Narrator. And that's it for traffic signs and road markings, the very first section of our complete DMV prep. If you got these right, you're off to a strong start. In part 2, we're tackling rules of the road, speed limits, right-of-way, and the tricky questions that trip up most people. Make sure to check out the link in the description or the playlist and keep going until you master all 342 DMV test topics. Don't forget, like this video, hit subscribe, and share it with anyone else preparing for their California DMV test. Passing is easy if you know what's coming. Rules of the road, all Q&A explained. Welcome back to part 2 of our complete California DMV test prep series. In this video, we're covering the heart of the test, the rules of the road. This section is packed with speed limits, right-of-way laws, parking rules, and the tricky situations that cause the most test failures. But don't stress. We're breaking it all down with easy answers and memory hacks so you'll remember it when it counts. Let's get started. Speed limits. Q. What is the speed limit in a residential area if not posted? A. 25 miles per hour. Q. What is the speed limit in a school zone when children are present? A. 25 miles per hour, sometimes 15 miles per hour if posted. Q. What is the maximum speed on most California highways? A. 65 miles per hour or 70 miles per hour if posted. Q. What is the speed limit in alleys? A. 15 miles per hour. Q. What is the speed limit at railroad crossings when you cannot see 400 feet down the track? A. 15 miles per hour. Memory hack. 15 for alleys and tracks, 25 for homes and schools, 65 plus on highways. Right-of-way rules. Q. At a four-way stop, who goes first if two vehicles arrive at the same time? A. The vehicle on the right. Right is right. Q. At an intersection with no stop signs, who has the right-of-way? A. The vehicle or bicycle that arrives first, or the one on the right if they arrive at the same time. Q. When turning left, who has the right-of-way? A. Oncoming traffic. Q. Who has the right-of-way at a T intersection with no signs? A. Traffic on the through road. Q. When must you yield to pedestrians? A. Always at crosswalks and intersections. Q. When should you yield to blind pedestrians using a cane or guide dog? A. Always, without exception. Q. What should you do if you enter an intersection and cannot clear it? A. Don't enter. Blocking intersections is illegal. Parking rules. Q. How close can you park to a fire hydrant? A. Not within 15 feet. Q. How close can you park to a railroad track? A. Not within 7.5 feet. Q. How close can you park to a fire station driveway? A. Not within 15 feet on the same side or 75 feet on the opposite side if signs are posted. Q. Can you park in a bicycle lane? A. Only if permitted and only if it does not block bicyclists. Q. Can you double park? Parking in the street beside another car. A. No, it's always illegal. Q. Can you park in a crosswalk? A. No. Q. Can you park in a disabled spot without a placard? A. No, fines are steep. Emergency vehicles and school buses. Q. What must you do when an emergency vehicle is approaching with lights and sirens? A. Pull to the right and stop until it passes. Q. What should you do if you are in an intersection when an emergency vehicle approaches? A. Continue through, then pull over safely. Q. When must you stop for a school bus with flashing red lights? A. Always in both directions, unless you are on the opposite side of a divided highway. Q. What do you do when a school bus has flashing yellow lights? A. Prepare to stop. The bus is about to stop for children. Intersections and special rules. Q. What should you do when approaching a roundabout? A. Yield to traffic already in the circle and enter when safe. Q. What should you do when approaching a railroad crossing with no signals and no clear view? A. Slow to 15 miles per hour, look and listen, and proceed only when safe. Q. Can you turn right on a red light in California? A. Yes, after a complete stop, unless a sign prohibits it. Q. Can you turn left on red? A. Yes, but only from a one-way street onto another one-way street. Q. What should you do if a traffic signal is blacked out? Power outage? A. Treat it as a four-way stop. Q. What does the move over law require? A. Move over or slow down when approaching stopped emergency or tow vehicles with flashing lights. Passing and lane rules. Q. When can you pass another vehicle on the right? A. When the vehicle ahead is making a left turn and it's safe, or on roads with 2 or more lanes in your direction. Q. When is it illegal to pass another vehicle? A. On a hill, curve, within 100 feet of intersections, bridges, tunnels, or railroad crossings. Q. What's the rule about solid yellow lines? A. Never pass if the solid line is on your side. Q. What's the rule about center left turn lanes? A. They are only for turning left, not for passing. Q. When can you drive in a bicycle lane? A. No more than 200 feet before making a right turn. And that wraps up rules of the road, the biggest section of the DMV test, and the one that trips up the most people. But now you've got it locked in. Remember, right is right at four-way stops, 15 miles per hour in alleys and by tracks, 25 miles per hour in schools and neighborhoods, and always yield to pedestrians. Next up in Part 3, we'll dive into safe driving and emergencies. Headlights, skids, accidents, and life-saving rules you absolutely need to know. Safe driving and emergencies. All Q and A explained. Welcome to Part 3 of our California DMV test series. If you've been following along, you know we've already covered signs and rules of the road. Now we're shifting gears into safe driving and emergencies. The life-saving section. These are the questions that test whether you'll stay calm in a skid, what to do if your brakes fail, and how to keep everyone safe in an accident. Get ready, because some of these answers can mean the difference between passing the test and preventing a tragedy on the road. Headlights and visibility cue. When must you turn on your headlights? A. From 30 minutes after sunset to 30 minutes before sunrise, or whenever visibility is less than 1,000 feet. Q. When must you use your low-beam headlights? A. At night in fog, rain, snow, or dust. Q. When must you dim your high-beam headlights? A. Within 500 feet of an oncoming vehicle or 300 feet behind a vehicle you are following. Memory hack. 500 when facing, 300 when chasing. Skids and loss of control cue. What should you do if your vehicle starts to skid? A. Take your foot off the gas, don't brake, and steer in the direction of the skid. Q. What should you do if your wheels drift off the pavement? A. Grip the wheel, ease off the gas, gently steer back on when safe. Q. What should you do if your brakes fail? A. Pump the brakes, downshift to a lower gear, and use the emergency brake. Q. What should you do if your accelerator sticks? A. Shift to neutral, apply brakes, and turn off the ignition when safe. Accidents and emergencies. Q. What should you do if you're in a collision? A. Stop immediately, exchange information, and file a report if damage is over $1,000 or there are injuries. Q. When must you notify the DMV about a collision? A. Within 10 days if there is more than $1,000 in damage or anyone is injured or killed. Q. What should you do if you hit a parked vehicle or other property? A. Try to find the owner or leave a note with your contact info and report to the police. Q. What must you do if someone is injured in an accident? A. Call 911 and give reasonable assistance. Do not move them unless necessary. Bad weather and road conditions. Q. What is the 3-second rule? A. Maintain at least a 3-second following distance in normal conditions. Q. When should you increase following distance to 4 or more seconds? A. In rain, fog, snow, ice, or when driving a large vehicle. Q. What should you do when driving in fog? A. Use low beams and fog lights, never high beams. Q. What should you do if your car hydroplanes? A. Ease off the gas, keep the wheel straight, and don't brake until traction returns. Emergency stops and safety equipment. Q. What should you do if you must stop on a highway? A. Pull off the road, use emergency flashers, and stay inside the vehicle if safe. Q. What equipment must you always have in your vehicle? A. A working horn, brakes, windshield wipers, rearview mirror, and safety belts. Q. Are seat belts required in California? A. Yes, for the driver and all passengers age 8 and older, or at least 4 feet 9 inches tall. Outro. Final 40 seconds. Narrator. Encouraging, firm. And that's it for safe driving and emergencies, one of the most important parts of the DMV test and real life. Remember, low beams in fog, 500 feet when facing, and 300 feet when chasing, steer into the skid, and always report accidents within 10 days. These aren't just test answers. They're survival rules. Next up in Part 4, we'll dive into sharing the road, the rules that keep you safe around motorcycles, trucks, bikes, pedestrians, and even animals. Don't skip it. It's another big test section, like subscribe and share this playlist so no one in your crew fails their test. You've got this. Sharing the road. All Q&A explained. Welcome to Part 4 of our California DMV test series. Today we're covering sharing the road. Everything about driving alongside motorcycles, large trucks, bicycles, pedestrians, school buses, and even animals. This section is huge on the DMV test because it's all about safety and awareness. So if you want to avoid the most common mistakes that cause drivers to fail, stay with me. These answers are going to save you points and maybe even save lives. Motorcycles. Q. Why are motorcycles harder to see? A. They're smaller and can be hidden in blind spots. Q. What following distance should you give motorcycles? A. At least 4 seconds. Q. What should you do when a motorcycle is ahead of you and the road is wet or slippery? A. Give them even more space. Q. Can motorcycles use carpool, HOV lanes? A. Yes, unless otherwise posted. Memory hack. Motorcycles equals more space. Large trucks and commercial vehicles. Q. What are the blind spots around large trucks called? A. No zones. Q. Where are truck blind spots? A. Directly in front, behind, and along each side, especially the right side. Q. How much space should you give trucks when merging in front of them? A. Enough that you can see the entire truck in your rearview mirror before pulling in. Q. When passing a truck, which side is safest? A. Pass quickly on the left. Q. Why do trucks need more room to turn? A. They make wide turns and may swing wide before turning right. Quick tip. If you can't see the truck driver's mirrors, they can't see you. Bicycles. Q. How much clearance must you give a bicyclist when passing? A. At least 3 feet. Q. Can bicyclists ride in the center of the lane? A. Yes, if the lane is too narrow for a vehicle to pass safely. Q. Are bicyclists required to follow traffic laws? A. Yes, the same as drivers. Q. When can you drive in a bike lane? A. No more than 200 feet before making a right turn or when entering or exiting a driveway. Q. Can you park in a bike lane? A. Only if permitted and it doesn't block cyclists. Pedestrians. Q. When must you yield to pedestrians? A. Always at crosswalks and intersections, marked or unmarked. Q. Who has the right of way? A pedestrian crossing illegally or a car with a green light? A. The pedestrian. You must always try to avoid hitting them. Q. What should you do when a pedestrian is blind or visually impaired? A. Stop and yield. Never honk, it's dangerous. Q. When must you yield to pedestrians with a white cane or guide dog? A. Always. It's the law. School buses and safety zones. Q. When must you stop for a school bus? A. When it has flashing red lights in both directions, unless on the opposite side of a divided highway. Q. What should you do when a bus flashes yellow lights? A. Prepare to stop. It's about to stop for children. Q. What is a safety zone? A. A space set aside for pedestrians, marked by raised buttons or markers. Never drive through it. Animals and railroad crossings. Q. What should you do when you see animals on or near the roadway? A. Slow down. Follow directions from herders and never honk. Q. What should you do when crossing railroad tracks with animals? A. Proceed slowly and carefully. Animals can be unpredictable. Outro. Final 40 seconds. Narrator. Upbeat, encouraging. And that's it for sharing the road. The DMV wants to know that you'll give space, patience, and safety to motorcycles, trucks, bikes, pedestrians, buses, and animals. Quick recap. 4 seconds behind motorcycles, 3 feet for bicycles, stop for red flashing bus lights, and never cut off a truck. Easy, right? In Part 5, we'll cover alcohol and drugs, another section where many test takers slip up. Don't miss it. These questions are guaranteed to show up on your exam. Special situations, all. Welcome to Part 6 of our California DMV test series. Now we're talking about special situations, the scenarios that can catch drivers off guard. Freeways, construction zones, emergencies, and unusual road conditions. These are the types of questions that can make or break your DMV score, so stick close. I'm going to break it all down so you'll know exactly what to do every time. Freeways and expressways. Q. Should you stop at the end of a freeway on-ramp before merging? A. No. Match the speed of traffic and merge safely. Q. What's the safest way to enter a freeway? A. Use the acceleration lane to match the speed of traffic and merge carefully. Q. How should you exit a freeway? A. Signal early, slow down in the deceleration lane, and don't stop on the exit ramp. Q. When should you use the left lane on a freeway? A. Only for passing or if signs indicate it's a through lane. Construction zones. Q. What do orange construction signs mean? A. You're entering a work zone. Slow down and follow directions. Q. Are fines higher in construction zones? A. Yes, double fines are common to encourage safe driving. Q. What should you do if flaggers are directing traffic? A. Obey their signals exactly. They are authorized to control traffic. Memory hack. Orange equals slow, double fines, follow the flag. Emergency stops and vehicle failures. Q. What should you do if you must stop on a highway? A. Pull off the road safely, turn on hazard lights, and stay in your vehicle if it's safe. Q. What should you do if your car stalls on the tracks? A. Get out immediately and move away from the tracks. Call for help. Q. What should you do if your car breaks down in traffic? A. Turn on hazard lights, stay inside if safe, and call for help. Q. What should you do if your car is hit from behind? A. Press the brake to avoid hitting the vehicle in front, check for injuries, and move to a safe location if possible. Unusual road conditions. Q. What should you do when driving on wet, icy, or slippery roads? A. Slow down, increase following distance, and avoid sudden turns or stops. Q. What is hydroplaning and what should you do? A. Hydroplaning is when tires ride on water instead of the road. Ease off the gas, don't brake, steer straight until traction returns. Q. What should you do if visibility is poor? Fog, heavy rain, snow. A. Slow down, use low beams, and increase following distance. Memory hack. Wet or slippery? Slow, space, gentle. Outro, final 40 seconds. Narrator, encouraging, upbeat. And that's special situations, freeway merging, construction zones, emergencies, and tricky weather. Remember, orange signs equals slow and obey, match freeway speed, hazards on equals emergency stop, and slow gently in bad conditions. Next up in Part 7, we'll cover licensing and vehicle basics, insurance, seat belts, child seats, and all the last DMV essentials you need to pass. Hit like, subscribe, and keep this playlist handy. We're almost at full mastery of the California DMV 2025 and 2026 test. Licensing and vehicle basics, all Q&A explained. Welcome to Part 7 of our California DMV test series, the final chapter. Today we're covering licensing and vehicle basics. This section is small but super important because it's all about knowing the rules for driving legally: insurance, registration, seatbelts, child seats, and the vehicle itself. Stick with me. These are the last questions that will make you ready to pass the DMV on your first try. Driver licensing rules. Q. At what age can you get a learner's permit in California? A. 151 and a half years old. Q. At what age can you get a provisional license? A. 16 years old after completing the required practice hours. Q. At what age can you get a full driver's license? A. 18 years old. Q. What are provisional license restrictions? A. No driving between 11 p.m., 5 a.m., and no passengers under 20, except family, for the first 12 months. Vehicle registration and insurance. Q. What documents must you carry while driving? A. Driver's license, vehicle registration, and proof of insurance. Q. Is liability insurance required in California? A. Yes. You must have at least the minimum coverage by law. Q. How often must you renew vehicle registration? A. Every year, unless otherwise indicated by the DMV. Q. What happens if you drive without insurance? A. Fines, possible license suspension, and financial liability for damages. Seatbelts and child safety seats. Q. Who must wear seatbelts in California? A. The driver and all passengers. Q. What are the child passenger safety requirements? A. Children under 2 must be in rear-facing car seats. Children under 8 must be in car seats or booster seats in the back seat, and children over 8 or 4 feet 9 inches may use regular seatbelts. Q. Can you hold a child on your lap in a moving vehicle? A. No. It's illegal and dangerous. Memory hack. Rear-facing under 2, booster under 8, seatbelt over 8. Vehicle safety basics. What must a vehicle have to be legally driven? A. Working brakes, horn, windshield wipers, mirrors, seatbelts, headlights, taillights, turn signals, and tires in good condition. Q. What should you check before driving? A. Tires, lights, signals, brakes, mirrors, and fuel level. Q. What is the maximum number of passengers allowed in a vehicle? A. Only the number of working seat belts. Q. What are the rules about transporting hazardous materials? A. Only with proper permits and vehicle markings, illegal without them. Outro, final 40 seconds, narrator, friendly, celebratory. And that's it. Licensing and vehicle basics. And that completes all 7 categories of the California DMV Test 2025. Quick recap. Always carry license, registration, and insurance. Follow seatbelt and child seat laws. Check your vehicle before driving. And remember all provisional restrictions if you're under 18. Now you have all the knowledge from signs and road markings to licensing and vehicle basics. A total of 342 questions in the DMV test bank. Watch all 7 videos, link them into a playlist, and you're ready to crush the test on your first try. Hit like, subscribe, share this playlist with a friend, and go pass that DMV test like a pro. You've just completed all 7 chapters. The full 342 DMV questions and answers that the test pulls from. You've seen every rule, every road sign, every situation that could show up on your exam. Now it's time to turn knowledge into action. At DMVTestMaster.com, you can try it for free. Access practice tests, study guides, and the full question bank tailored for your state and license type. Whether it's your permit, license renewal, CDL, or motorcycle test, we've built the tools to make sure you pass the first time. Don't wait. Don't risk failing like 50% of drivers do. Register today, master the test, and conquer the road with confidence. Please like and share this video. Thank you.